Going to my mind's going blank now. What's happening? What, I can't remember. I'm gonna lose track. My mind's going blank now. What are you talking about? What the hell's going on here? Where the hell are we? My mind's going blank now. I can't remember. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. What am I doing here? My mind's going blank now. Where am I heading? I keep forgetting.
We interrupt Joe Biden's nonsense and his gobbledygook to bring you today's news live from Central Pennsylvania.
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hey Joe, don't let the big door hit you where the good Lord split you. We love our flag. These colors don't run. Oh, Tom McDonald get all choked up. It takes a Canadian to refute the wokies in America. Well done to Tom McDonald. Best song he's ever done. Hands down, Tom McDonald held his fire for the moment it was needed the most. This is our theme song. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom McDonald. Goodbye, Joe. Wow. Welcome back to the program, folks. It is Monday, November 4th, 2024. One day, less than 24 hours to the polls open. The polls open here in 23 hours and 45, or no, excuse me, 20 hours and 19 hours, 45 minutes, excuse me, 19 hours, 45 minutes. Tomorrow, and I'll be at the polls covering the elections, not for broadcasting, but for my role as elected official, the judge of elections. I'll be covering events there in nonpartisan fashion, ensuring that all my poll workers get their job done and the people get their opportunity to vote if they're legal citizens in this country. For those who claim to be that aren't, go ahead and file a provisional ballot, let the county throw it out. So welcome to the crowd here. Let's see, James Bowie's in, Val Cooper, Teresa, Pablo, Charlie, Janet Liddy, Debbie Moore, Christo else, any else following Mark Lifman hit and all the previous stories? Well, Christo, I'm reporting on it extensively. I just published another update as this stream went live. That's why I was about 2 or 3 minutes late. Apologies for that. Also, this is an early broadcast today. Maybe not for you guys, but for me, because I have to adjust the daylight savings time. Teeny's membership. Thank you, Teeny. We are now 7 hours time from South Africa, so this will be my normal time to start, but it will be an abbreviated news broadcast because at the top of the hour, I'll be going over to Wyatt Reports channel where I will be speaking about the upcoming elections. He's asked me to come on there. In fact, let me see if I can't redirect to Wyatt. I don't know if he's given me authority to do that, so let's try it. Whoops, that's not how you spell his name. There it is. Good. Okay, so you'll be automatically redirected to Wyatt's channel, okay, with a special conversation with Wyatt Reports and Chris Wyatt after this, assuming it lets me do it. There it did, finally. YouTube is not the most helpful at times. All right, so welcome back to the program, folks. By the way, my thanks to, let me just check on the sound quality of this. Hang on. Just check on the sound quality. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody who watched my production videos yesterday. Yesterday was the second biggest performing day ever on this channel without me even realizing. It just shot through the roof. That first Mark Lifman video is burning up the charts. The second one is doing well today. Thank you all for that. And those who watch my live streams as well. Really appreciate it. The biggest day I've had on this channel had been in June when I was in South Africa, and that's after having a channel for 3 years, and now I've just hit another high, but still not back up to the levels we once were before we were censored on YouTube. So hopefully it picks up. But the numbers of people on the channel are growing. Subscriber base is starting to tick up again because of these videos. Thank you for that. Just a quick update on that, folks. We have gained a few hundred subscribers in the past day or so. In fact, yesterday we had 19,144. We've been stagnating there for an entire month, not budging from 19,100. And now we're at 19,681 just a day later, or 2 days later. So yeah, that's 500, it's 540 additional subscribers. Not like the old days on YouTube, but hey, that is good growth. Thank you so much for joining us. We got some of the old school folks here. Debbie Moore is here. Ken Aronston, folks with us since the very beginning. Ken, it's always good to see you. What a fine gentleman you are. Having met you in person was a true pleasure. Anyway, so there, I've said it. Ha ha. Richard Kuhn is here. Welcome to you. George is here. Keith Alderson, Garrett Gillitz, du alte Knabe in Somerset West, na wie geht's du? Was machst du denn eigentlich heute? Du hast jetzt Sommersaison. Wir haben hier jetzt Herbst und ich finde das sehr gut. Ich bin jetzt in guter Laune. Ich habe gute Laune jetzt da. Keith Alderson, Chantel Boyerson. Not sure about the deadline for voting. Deadline for voting is when the polls close. The polls close at different times. I have that image. I don't know if it's going to be readily available. Let me see if I can find it. I did show that on a broadcast a few days ago. I'm looking for the image now, but I download so many images. I create so many images. I mean, there are literally hundreds of them here from just this past week of images I've created or used. There's the Botswana election. There's North Carolina. There's Pennsylvania. Where is the poll one? I've got to find that because I need that for the night. That's not good. Lord, man, I really do a lot of videos here. I've just now gotten back to Saturday. Wow. And there's the prep for Saturday. So this was before Saturday. I'm looking for it. Wow, I cannot find that image. See, this is the problem with this stuff. I have to sequester it in a folder all by itself. Otherwise, I have a hard time finding these things. Doesn't look like I'm going to be able to find it right now. My apologies for that. But the polls close at different times. On the East Coast, it's not all at the same time. Some places like Pennsylvania close at 8 o'clock. Most places close at 7 p.m. And thank you, Ekver Clara, for becoming a subscriber. Appreciate that. Yeah, so anyway. Elson Johnson, welcome to you. Martin K, Pablo Charlie. And then the polls close in a cascade fashion across the United States. We go from Eastern Standard to Central Time. Not all close at the same time. The Central Time Zone. And then of course, Florida has two time zones. Florida has the Eastern side, the Peninsula, and then the Panhandle is in a different time zone. It's an hour later. Then you go on and you go into Central, then Mountain, then Pacific, then Alaska and Hawaii, 6 hours afterwards. Or 5 hours. So the polls will all be closed around midnight Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 a.m. South Africa time. But by then, the race should have been long decided. The race should be decided by the time I get home, and I'll be broadcasting live on @RealChrisWyatt, the original OG channel, @RealChrisWyatt, U.S. Politics over there on that channel. Please go over there, mark it. I've put the banner up for that stream. You can check it out. Please join us. It'll be early morning South Africa time on Wednesday. If you're available, you can tune in and hear the results and my analysis. What the heck is this? Oh, yeah. By the way, I found something I was looking for. My tripod, that awesome one I got, was made in Italy. Really good quality one, made out of steel. Then I had to order a new one, and the newer one's made with plastic crap. But this is good. So this rubber grommet had disappeared. That keeps my phone from being scratched up on the metal base. And so it turned up under my keyboard on my computer last night. How the hell it got there, I have no idea. But let me put it over here, because now it just showed up on my shirt, on my hoodie. Put it over there so it stays. But we should know at that time. But who knows what will happen with the counting. Pennsylvania in 2020 had 2.7 million mail-in ballots, unheard of. This year, they have just 2.2 million requested. That was 2.7 million that were sent back. This 2.2 million requested, that's 500,000 less. So that's 500,000 less votes that have to be counted. That means 500,000 less minutes that have to be wasted, opening envelopes, unfolding the thing, feeding it to a machine. So that should expedite this. In addition of the 2.2 million, only 1.7 million of those votes had arrived at the post office by Saturday evening. That means 500,000 of those aren't even there. So potentially, it won't be a million, but it could be as many as 1 million fewer mail-in ballots being counted in Pennsylvania. Now, it'll probably be just a couple 100,000, as it's likely that a bunch will flood in tomorrow and on Tuesday through the mail to the county courthouses. The Postal Service will be very busy delivering these ballots. They cannot be accepted legally after 8 p.m. Anything that arrives after 8 p.m. is invalid as a ballot and should not be counted, regardless who the person voted for. Right. Chris, always with the cultural appropriation. What cultural appropriation do I have here, Retardistan? What have I appropriated? All right, I think I've come across reports at least 4 or 5 ways. Oh, there's lots of ways of corrupt voting around the country. The fact that we don't use everywhere paper ballots that are verifiable and that are auditable is one of the problems. We saw a voting machine in Kentucky where the gentleman, video showed him trying to push Trump over and over again in early voting. After 5 or 6 times, it magically selected Kamala Harris. Now, the Kentucky Board of Elections for that county admitted that that machine was defective and that voter was being defrauded. They took that machine out of service, they claim, and it was no longer part of the election that day. Well, there you go. Anyway, I think I've come across reports. What's this? That's a demonetized video. What is a demonetized video? What are you talking about, man? What the hell is Retardistan talking about? Final countdown. Yeah, final countdown. It's good morning. Yesterday, you gave us a confidence boost with electoral map, but you gave Wisconsin to Trump. Well, yes, I think he'll win in Wisconsin. Absolutely. But I did the math. And ladies and gentlemen, we did the chart yesterday. If Trump wins New Hampshire, which he's likely to do, although the media we're just coming around to now that Trump is going to win New Hampshire, a traditionally conservative state. Trump wins New Hampshire, and Nebraska and Maine go the way expected with the congressional districts, which they should historically. This is split because the way they break up their votes, electoral votes, the only 2 states in the union to do that. Then Trump, if he wins Nevada, where he's ahead, according to the New York Times Siena poll and all the other polls, although they claimed he's behind, but now they say he's ahead. If he wins in Nevada, he's up in Arizona significantly, and he wins in Georgia, where he's up by 5 points. Winning those 3 states in the scenario I just laid out, Trump can lose Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin and still win this race. 272. That's what he'll have. Wow. So the path to victory is harder for Kamala Harris right now, much harder, but that doesn't mean she can't win. Hey, Vilma Erasmus, how are you? Lynette Orr, welcome to you. Good evening to everyone. May God's blessings be with the citizens of USA. May tomorrow be a testament to the citizens of USA's love for their country. Let's hope so. Let's say goodbye to Joe. Pack your bags and go. John Jarvis, when Trump wins, half Americans will totally melt down. Actually, no, John, it's not. Wait do you see the vote? Where do you see the vote returns before you say that? I expect that Trump's going to win the popular vote based on the way things are going. If he doesn't, I'll admit. But I mean, I have the data everyone else has. So we're going off the data. We're also going off the sentiment on the ground. There were people canvassing supposedly in my county yesterday. We'll get to that story. I have to quickly zip through the news here. Not a lot of analysis, but mostly reporting today so we can get to it. But yeah, I'm going to show you those stories. The demon rats were out in force in my county, in my town yesterday, knocking on doors, bothering people on the eve of the election in a place that's overwhelmingly conservative, and none of us are dumb enough to vote for a box of rocks. While they're busy trying to tell us that Trump is a rapist, that he's a murderer, he's a convicted felon, all of which are lies. The convicted felon, yeah, they got that label, but that's because of fraudulent case in which the court had no jurisdiction over a crime that does not exist. So you can convict someone of a crime, that they never did and call them a felon, but that doesn't make it true. This is TM's best song ever. Yeah, Tom McDonald, I agree with 100% best song ever. I'm sure the best thing coming out of these elections is no one has to deal with Biden anymore. Goodbye, Joe. Yep. Goodbye, Joe. Teeny's been a member for 13 months. Thank you for that. Janssen von Rensburg for 40 months. Thank you. Mark Purchase is here, fleshing in from Oxford. Garrett Gillich, Janet Liddy from South Carolina. Pablo Charlie, South Carolina. Going to get hot there tomorrow there, Janet. And yeah, I love Tom McDonald too. He's a bit of a weird guy with the tats and the piercings. It's not something I'm really into, but it's his thing. So there you go. I mean, I showed it to an 83-year-old gentleman yesterday, and he loved it. Even though he is a very conservative person, someone with all those tats, he kept pointing. He's like, look at those tats. But he loved the song. Garrett says, you're most welcome. Menage a Trois, does the mafia in Salvia have the same type of mafia history as USA? No, it's different. It's a different mafia history, but it's really out of control now under the ANC. They've really sticky there. Retardistan is saying hello to people, but not answering my question. Maybe he does it later on. Moonbass is here. Welcome to you. Oh, yeah, that song, I played it yesterday, and it was demonetized, I believe. Let me see, live yesterday. No, it wasn't demonetized. It wasn't, no. Tom McDonald has not put a copyright claim on that video yet. He wants people to hear it. Over 2.1 million people had heard it in the first 2 days, according to YouTube, probably more, actually. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be demonetized. Yeah, gotcha. Okay, Afrikaans Music started. Oh, no, the Afrikaans Music Start does not demonetize my channel. That's shared revenue with Giselle. You are late to the stream. I've been using that song for 5 years. I have copyright authority. It never should be a copyright claim. But since the revenue is shared with Giselle, I don't mind. But the bottom line is that I have the rights to that music to play all of her songs given to me in 2020 by the artist herself. And I've constantly had to fight YouTube and show them, but they don't care. The first couple months, they were hitting me with copyright claims and threatening to take down my videos. I sent them the letter. And they just, or the email, I should say. And then they came back and they restored it, but then they just kept coming because it's all automated. They're too stupid to put a mark saying this content creator has authority to use this copyrighted music. Anyway, winter is back in Cape Town. Well, that's crazy. F.I. Murray says, well, I trust you have voted. Thank you. No, I have not voted. I do not do early voting. It's an abomination to selecting leadership in our country. It's a disgrace. The only time I have voted early is not early voting, but in the military, federal absentee ballot, because I was physically unable to go to Ohio to vote on election day when I'm fighting a war in the Balkans or in the Middle East or somewhere in Africa, or I'm deployed in an embassy somewhere or working overseas. So I did federal absentee balloting. You can call that early vote if you want. But since I've retired from the military in October 2019, I had to vote in Ohio because it wasn't technically a resident here. But since 2020, 1, 2, 3, and now 4, 5 years, I've voted in person, and I will always vote in person as long as I'm not in a care facility. There you go. All right. Okay. MSN and their misdirection. Yep. Taurus says, hey, from Alberton. Welcome, Taurus. From Alberton, most of Harris's celebrity endorsements are the list. Yes, most of Kamala Harris's celebrity endorsements have been hanging out with Sean, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy Combs. Yeah, that's right. Wait till we see the videos of them doing a little recto rooting there, a little that sloppy knobbing there. Ooh, I don't want to get gross here on the channel, but hey, we know there's sex videos of J-Lo, right? I don't know, is it J-Lo? Somebody, I don't know. These people, these celebrities, they're all, who knows? It isn't J-Lo. It's not J-Lo, is it? No, I don't know who it is. Anyway, but there's sex videos apparently showing folks. Tom McDonald sounds similar to Timmy Swims. I don't know who Timmy Swims is. Ronaldo's here. Good luck with the elections tomorrow. Let's hope for a solid victory for Harris. Yes, a former member of Parliament, Ronaldo Host, is in the channel expressing his leftist fantasies with his fellow traveler, Kamala Harris. Obviously, Ronaldo is being facetious. Have you ever been to Port Elizabeth? Oh my God, Christo, you must be new to the program. Brother, many. Good Lord. I mean, I go to Port Elizabeth all the time and get driven absolutely batshit crazy and bored to tears because I have to hang out with Ronaldo Host. Every time I go to PE, it's Ronaldo this, Ronaldo that. We go here, we go there, we go everywhere. Everybody loves Ronaldo. It's so obnoxious. I go to his ward. It's like, no, Crystal, I'm just having a little bit of fun here. Yes, I've been to Port Elizabeth on every single trip that I've gone. Well, not every. 3 of the 4 trips I've made back to South Africa for my periodic trips, usually about every 6 months. This year, it's a much larger gap. I just don't have the cash anymore. I self-fund my journalism, and it doesn't make money. I'm living off my military retirement, my investments to do this, and so I'm trying to bring truth and justice and honesty and cogent analysis to the world, and that costs money. So super chats help with a little bit, but there's none today, and the advertising helps a bit with that, but none of it covers it. And the reason why I've been able to come back this year, I came for the elections. Normally I would have come in January, February, March, and then come again in August, September. But this year I came in May because the election stayed end of May and all of June, and then came back. And I did go to Port Elizabeth. But there's been one trip where I didn't go to Port Elizabeth. But the reason I can't come as often as I have been coming is that it's just too expensive. My first plane flight back to South Africa during the COVID scam when it was rolling back cost me $680, something like that, through Lufthansa. It was annoying, but that's what it cost me. My next trip cost me $1,200. Then the third one was $1,800. This last trip cost me $3,100 for an economy seat in which my hip was jammed into my chest. So I mean, it's a lot of money. Now, the trips are not as bad as they sound because lodging is often provided by very kind, gracious, wonderful hosts in South Africa, and sometimes people actually pay for a few of my accommodations, which is very kind and generous, and I do appreciate that. Some of the trips, I don't even have to pay for food. People are constantly pushing food in front of me, whether it's at a braai or inviting me out to dinner or at the meet and greets, they pay for it. But of late, because South Africans are suffering, I pay for much more of that. So the trips are becoming much more expensive. My last trip must have cost me somewhere in the order, because I pay for the hires. I fly 5 or 6 flights around South Africa inside the country, plus the flight there, the hires, the petrol, all that stuff, the lodging put together. This last trip probably cost me somewhere in the order of, I would estimate, $6,000 US, easily maybe $7,000. So $7,000, that is... So 1,000 is going to be 20,000. It's about 130,000 Rand that trip cost me last time. Yeah. So doing those repeatedly is difficult. Plus time away from home. I can't leave my home unattended for too long. There's people back here, believe it or not, that actually want to see me, so care about me. Anyway, 2 shooters caught on camera changing number plates. Okay, Volgar, that was not available when I did my latest video, so thank you for that. I'll look into it. Will Smith's son, also a victim of P. Diddy. Yeah, I have to take the elderly on a trip once a year at least. See, I told you, man. Christo, I go to Port Elizabeth, and it's that Ronaldo guy. It's every time. I mean, he can't drive. I mean, they got these speed bumps in Port Elizabeth, and it's designed to get people to slow down. They put them in a 50 zone, and that's outrageous. Why do you put a speed bump in a 50 zone? If you slow it down to 30, put a speed bump. But 50 zone would just rip your suspension out. And Ronaldo goes like 70 over these speed bumps all over Port Elizabeth. I mean, I nearly lost a filling last time, bouncing around in his car, even with the seatbelt on. I was thrown up in the air. I think he's now, his third Chinese car because they just can't stand up to the abuse that he gives them on those crappy roads in Port Elizabeth. So anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. Du Grobla says, hope Republicans win from Alberton. Well, I hope so too. A lot of people coming in from Alberton tonight. What's going on? And yes, Christo is new to the channel. Thank you for your subscription, Christo. And I'm not sure how you found me because I'm hidden by YouTube. They hide my content. Steve is back. Steve says, Will Smith's son. Yeah, I got that already. Vulgar 999, 2 shooters. Thank you for that. Mark Purchase. Jamie Raskin said they will not certify the arrest. Yeah, I know. Jamie Raskin is a vile, disgusting human being who is very fortunate to be alive, courtesy of the world's best medical care in the United States. Pricey, but the best when you can get access to it. Now, if you're a veteran like me, you get screwed. 5 months waiting for, a medical test, should have been done that week. Anyway, and what do I find out from the neurologist? I go there, I drive an hour out of my way, pay for the petrol, pay for the visit that's supposed to be free. I go down there. Yeah, you do have this affliction. Oh, thank you. I knew that already. Voting Day in the USA is not a public holiday. Yes, it is a mistake. Gerardus Steenkamp. I've been arguing for that for years. It should be a national holiday. Trump loves gold-plated everything. He has children from multiple women, is convicted of multiple felonies, and has been... What? Oh, my goodness. All right. Pablo Charlie's trying to be funny. Brian Lawrence's here. Okay, welcome there. And then Malcolm Cloutier, welcome to you. And Trump's the first African-American president. What? It's not speed bumps, Colonel. They're filling the potholes in such a way it will last longer. Oh, that's what it's called, Andrea. Skulky Andrea. Oh, dear God. Okay, let's get to the news, folks. We got to get to the news here because I will not be able to do another broadcast today because I have to do a bunch of errands. I need to put petrol in the car because I'm down to a quarter of a tank, and I've got to run around tomorrow. I've also got to, what else I got to do? Oh, I got to get some water for the polling site. Then later this afternoon, I have to go to the polling site, meet up with the volunteers, and open it up and set it up for tomorrow. Look it up on Twitter. You'll see 0 black votes for Harris this year. Yeah, I have the website, and I'll share it with you guys if you stick around for Pennsylvania if you want to see what happens in the most important state in the union right here, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Let's get to it. 2 men reportedly taken into custody for the assassination of reputed underworld figure Mark Lifman. This is yet to be confirmed by Western Cape Police. I did report on this video that just came up a short while ago on the channel. Stay safe, says the judge, as the attorneys beg to be let off for a week to provide for security and new arrangements after Mark Lifman is assassinated. Wow. Unfortunately, the accused one was murdered in Georgia yesterday, said court prosecutor Mervyn Meningo. His life was taken. The matter is currently under investigation by South Africa Police Service. Lifman's lawyer, Estelle Killian, said simply, I confirm the passing of my client. I therefore withdraw from this matter. Good for her. Exit stage left. Suffering succotash. She's out of there. And I don't blame her, man. I wouldn't want anything to do with this trial. But boy, you got to have a solid pair of brass, you know what. Now, the judge said the court wishes to express its condolences to the family of your client. It's a tragedy that anybody has to die in such circumstances. So we wish you much strength during this difficult period. And he thanked Killian for her work on the trial. Boyson, that's Donkey Boyson, Jerome Donkey Boyson, the purported crime lord. His lawyer, Amanda Nell, her voice broke as she asked for a 2-week postponement at the request of Boyson and Naudeyer, but didn't give 2 weeks. The judge gave 1 week. The trial will resume on the 11th, 1 week from today. The accused 2 and 3 were very close to the accused one, so at this stage it's practical and for humanitarian reasons. However, they did not do it. Now here, folks, is a photograph, a grainy photograph from CCTV from inside the Garden Route Mall in George shortly before the assassination of Mark Lifman. There he is doing some shopping. If he has security, they're not visible. One has to wonder why there is no security around Mark Lifman, a man in the most prominent murder trial in all of South Africa. Well, the Kriel Unit 6 caught on fire today. Eskom once again letting South Africans down. But it won't result in load shedding, says Eskom. Yeah, okay. The fire, which affected Unit Kriel 6 power station in Mpumalanga on Sunday, I said today, will not affect current generation capacity. Preliminary investigation revealed that an oil pipe had broken, causing an oil spill on the hot surfaces of the turbine, which triggered a fire. Well, there you go. South Africa's Eskom using old, antiquated, faulty oil pipes, apparently. Well, folks, we're going to talk once again to Richard Wilkinson later in the week if things go well. But remember the pupils at the Pretoria High School for Girls who were accused of being racist by the racist black students who tried to set them up? And then the whole Gauteng Department of Education, led by the race hustler in chief, Panyazi Lesufi, went after these girls. They were expelled from school. They were kicked out without even a trial. The procedures for innocence and guilt were not followed by the Department of Education. They were demonized. They were threatened. Their lives were disrupted. All of this because of the racist, race hustling garbage of the government of Gauteng. The girls were completely exonerated by an investigation. In fact, it was proven that the black students were the ones that instigated this and were looking for an excuse to set up the white students all year long because of the demonic, hateful racism of those black students who apparently have the most evil of parents who did not raise them well to love their neighbor. Well, the Department of Education in Gauteng has not stopped. Now they're going after the teachers, and they're saying that some white teachers at the Pretoria High School for Girls don't, wait for it, folks. Now, do they get sambucks and whip their colleagues? No. Have they called them the K word? No. Have they assaulted them? No. But apparently, some white teachers don't greet black colleagues. Oh my God, the racism, it's everywhere. Racism here, racism there. When you look for racism, you find it everywhere. I will be doing a video on this story, folks. Unbelievable. The Pretoria High School for Girls continually being assaulted by racists in the Department of Education in Gauteng. Some white teachers at Pretoria High School for Girls do not greet their fellow black colleagues because they do not know whether they're cleaners or educators at the school. Good God. This is among the findings from the law firm Mandalamba Attorneys, which is commissioned by the Gauteng Education Department to probe allegations of racism at the former Model C school. Department released a summary report today. Director of the law firm said the allegation that some white teachers did not greet their black colleagues was confirmed by the principal. Yeah, that would be the principal who's been suspended illegitimately and probably trying to save her job. Yeah. Of course, Ronaldo, steal my content. Look at that cultural appropriation. Look at this South African making videos about South Africa, stealing my stories. That's okay, Ronaldo. I mean, nobody's watching your channel anymore. You're just a former MP. Who cares? But seriously, folks. Listen, if you're a fan of Elvis Presley, you're going to watch my latest video because you'll love it. Shots fired. Indeed. The proper Ronaldo said, I'm an Army officer with multiple combat tours and 36 years of the Army. Dude, you can't pull a trigger at that bent finger of yours. You'll have to get a punga. And Ronaldo pull out a Japanese sword. I'll be like that, like Indiana Jones. Ronaldo pulls out, and I just go. Keith Alder says, how come the blacks and whites don't greet the cleaners? I have no idea. God, it's not my trigger finger. Are you triggered, Ronaldo? And another story, this one in the independent line, the toilet paper of record. The toilet paper of record that slandered Ronaldo Cruz. That would be the independent line, who withdrew from the press council because they didn't like the results. Gauteng Education Department releases an investigation report on racist allegations at Pretoria High School for Girls. Oh, well, piss off. You know what I have to say about these people? Footsec, you're a bunch of race hustlers, slimy people. That's right, IOL, I only lie. That's good, Ronaldo. I've never heard that before. I'll steal that and take credit for it all the time. Just like you take credit for my hate wankers comment. Moonchild reporting back that all the black cashiers who don't greet me at Pick and Pay. Yes, exactly. Exactly right. Every time I go to Checkers, the black cashiers just me. So they must be racist. Maybe they don't like their job and they've been working for 8 hours and they're tired on their feet. Just saying. All right. But remember, folks, just back in August, the 12 pupils who were illegitimately accused of racism, their lives disrupted and in some respects harmed grievously by these disgusting, vile black supremacists. Well, those 12 pupils were found not guilty of racist allegations. At least the toilet paper record did report it. Wow. So there you go. but they go after the teachers when they can't get the students. Well, the DA is self-serving. IFP MEC is divisive, says Sibonisu Duma. Governance in the province of KwaZulu-Natal under threat from the angry ANC because the Democratic Alliance wouldn't vote to oust their own member of their own councillor who's the mayor. The ANC wanted to get rid of their own mayor, and the DA said, nope, we're not going to do it. So, they're just self-serving. You know who's self-serving? The African National Congress. Frankly, all political parties are self-serving, but the biggest winner in this case is the African National Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, the ANC KwaZulu-Natal spoke out both sides of the mouth during a media briefing, holding no punches against the government of provincial uni, partners DA and IFP. ANC provincial chairperson Sibinoso Duma called the DA self-serving and the IFP divisive. Yes, but he said it would hold together. He said it's what they usually do, thinking they're just going to advance their posture. The DA's posture was just self-serving and was defeated. We are still going to be firm against the DA and his tendencies. That's because the mayor was actually voted out, despite the DA not being part of it. Yes, and of course, Mr. Duma, there he is, Duma, dumbass, Mr. Dumbass. What does he do? He cannot resist the opportunity to resort to race hustling. Yeah, here we go. Let me find out. Where's it at here? Right here. There it is. Every time we meet them, we go to them understanding who they are. Ooh, that sounds suspiciously racist, like a dog whistle. You couldn't hear that. That was a dog whistle. Actually, you couldn't hear that. That's a dog whistle. Yeah, the dog whistle, he says, every time we go to meet the DA, we go understanding who they are. Racist. Yeah, they don't represent the interests of black people in the province. They don't care about the interests of black people in this province. Really? Really? What a lying sack of horse manure this clown is. What a race-hustling piece of human feces Mr. Duma is. Have you heard of the mayor of Umgeni? That little dude who speaks Zulu? Spends his time in poor neighborhoods all over Howick? They don't care about the black people. You're a scumbag racist. Shut your mouth with this garbage. They don't care about black people. Really? Really? Actions speak louder than words, ANC, and the DA is actually doing many things for black South Africans. By the way, that is a nonpartisan statement. Those of you who know me know that I do not like the DA. They're an abject failure in many respects, and they're arrogant, and most of them are unwilling to come on camera because a real journalist will actually ask them genuine questions, not softball questions, and let them get away with it from the South African context. Calls for a special tax to fund a 700 Rand grant. The Institute of Economic Justice, another bunch of morons, has argued that increasing South Africa's social relief of distress to 700 Rand per month is possible through the introduction of a luxury value-added tax, among other initiatives. But some economists think it's a bad idea. Well, that would be economists that are actually genuine economists. My goodness, folks, the stupidity of these people is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, where do they come off with this nonsense? They have no concept of what they're talking about. I mean, absolutely no concept. Let me just pull something up here very quickly. Davi Root is rubbish this, rightly so, because he's correct. He is absolutely correct about what's going on here. Where the hell is this thing at? I know. Oh, maybe it's not there. Documents. Maybe it's here. Hang on a second. I saved his comment, Davi Root. I want to comment on what Davi Root had to say. Why is my... Oh, my God, there's a lot of files there. There it is. This is what Davi Root had to say. He warns that increasing taxes on the wealthy could drive tax evasion and capital flight, particularly South Africa's tax base is extremely limited. Spot on. According to Davi Root, only 1.12% of taxpayers, that's 163,700 individuals, are responsible for 30% of the personal income tax revenue. And these are people who can afford to leave the country. So you want to lose 30% more? 19% of taxpayers contribute 87% of the total personal income taxes. 19%. Wow. So basically 81% of South Africans get a free ride. Now the situation is similar when it comes to corporate taxes, where just 0.09, 1/10 or 1/100% of companies contribute 62.5% of the country's corporate income tax. 4.4% pay for 95% of the total income tax. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's raise the taxes. How about you provide proper education, get rid of the racist legislation, and let people actually do their job? There. I might have to do a broadcast later after the Wyatt du Toit because I got a lot of news to get through here and I haven't even touched on it. So maybe we'll do a brief night owl this afternoon. Maybe, folks? What do you think? When will D. McPherson start announcing some infrastructure projects? That's going to take time, Pablo Charlie. He's got to find out where the money is and go through the books and see what's legitimate. Go shop at ShopRite. Always get greedy well there. Okay. When does a cop witness to the 6th January insurrection, Harry Dunn, get arrested for all his lies? I have no idea, Keith. I have no idea. They talk crap every day. Maybe if they actually had to build a nation, exactly, instead of being given one and destroying it. If you need the JPEG of the map showing voting closing times, I've sent a copy to your WhatsApp. Okay, thank you. Is that the one? Did I share it with you guys? Thank you, Keith. Yeah, that's it. The Washington Post. Thank you for that. Thank you very much, Keith, for finding that. I love. Oh, it's on Twitter. Okay, this was on Washington Post. So yeah, thank you for that, Keith. I love when people are so helpful. It won't get bigger. Why is it doing that? There we go. It's not giving me the. It's just acting up. Okay. That's not what I want. What the hell? There we go. All right, here we go. So here is the closing times for the election, which I mentioned earlier. So you can see the lighter colors. It's 6 p.m. A few actually close at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Many at 7 p.m. And then we've got 7:30, which is an odd one. That's Indiana and part of Kentucky. 8 p.m., which is Pennsylvania and much of the central states. Then 8:30. Then we got 9, 10, 11, midnight, 1 a.m. in Alaska and Hawaii. So there you go. Eastern Standard Time. That's when the polls close. That is when the polls close. I have that graphic somewhere. I've saved it. So I'll go back to the Washington Post at some point and get that. Anyway, back to the news. We're not going to be able to finish the news because we've just been covering this stuff. Let me get through as much of the South African news as I can today, and then we'll get back to the other news if we have time. All right. So business community wanted us to protect Ramaphosa. Helen Zilla's appearance before the South African Chamber of Commerce UK is really sparking a lot of attention because she's simply stating the truth. She came out and publicly stated what I and a few other analysts have said from the very beginning, that the ANC is most likely funded by Iran and Moscow, possibly Beijing as well. They are doing the bidding of Tehran when they go to the ICJ. They are doing the bid of Russia when they play their nonsense in Africa and talk about vaccine apartheid, and for China, all to undermine the West. So she said that. I did a video about it. She also said that that the business community, the idiots in the business community, wanted them to protect Ramaphosa, which leads me to believe, how corrupt is Ramaphosa and what is he getting from business community, right? So IOL reports that federal chairperson Helen Zille has admitted that her party prioritized business interests. She says the DA was instructed by business. No, that's not what she said. That is not what she said. See, that's a lie. The following is a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not what she said. And they actually put the text right here. This is how stupid this guy is. I've talked about this guy before. It's the same, one of the scumbags who attacked Ronaldo Jose, called him a racist without any facts. Here we go. There he is right there. Kameholo Mochela, a digital journalist who once again lies in this story. It's so obvious to call out these lies. I mean, this is ridiculous. He says that Helen Zille said something she didn't say. He says Helen Zille said the DA was instructed by business to protect President Ramaphosa from the EFF. That is not what she said. He even quotes what she said. Let me find the quote here. Where's it at? Where's it at? Come on. Here it is. Most of the business community wanted us to prop up Cyril Ramaphosa and protect him from the EFF and MK. That is what they wanted us to do. That is not the business community telling them to do it. There's a clear distinction there. This is not journalism. This is propaganda meant to divide the GNU. I don't really care if they divide it, and attack the DA. Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense. So the toilet paper record called out yet again. Well, Johannesburg's Stock Exchange has threatened to remove Eskom because they're not turning in the financial reports. Well, it's long overdue. We've been waiting for financial reports from Eskom for ages that have not shown up. Johannesburg Stock Exchange has warned Eskom's bonds will be suspended and potentially removed if the power utility does not submit its 2023-2024 financial statements by the end of this month. Well, there you go. So if you were dumb enough to invest in Eskom bonds, you're going to find they're no longer listed and traded on the pink sheets. They're off book, and that's going to make them hard to trade and not fungible. So you're going to be screwed if you own Eskom debt. Well, too bad for you. The Democratic Alliance wants Panyazi Lesufi investigated for flouting legislation. This is getting old, folks. Look, Panyazi Lesufi is a gangster in his behavior. He behaves like a gangster. He is a man with his own personal army, the Panyazi. He is a man who flouts the rule of law. He is a man who spews racial hatred all the time. He is a man that we all know is just undesirable. Yes, so the DA going to court over him breaking the rules for going to a meeting. Look, let's focus on something more substantive like hunger and power and water. Well, South African Airways, the non-existent airline, has launched a new route, this time to Lubumbashi in the DRC. Now, Erica knows where that's at. Erica knows where Lubumbashi is at. Yep. It's an inaugural flight between there. Why are they going to Lubumbashi? Well, that is a mineral-rich area with mining, and that's probably why there's a direct flight for South African Airways, a lucrative market that they have been absent from for some time. People keep asking for good news. Before I leave and go to my broadcast with Wyatt du Toit, hey, I got some good news. When I received the call from the bank, I burst into tears. A woman claims after winning a $103 million lottery. Woohoo! She won the jackpot. Who was funding the DA? Nick, it's available. It's a matter of public record. Go look it up. I've covered this in my videos. And also, I talked about it yesterday. I pulled it up. I don't have time right now. I have to go live in 6 minutes and have to wrap this broadcast up. We will do a Night Owls, folks. It'll be a short one, but we will do a Night Owls after Wyatt du Toit. Anyway, but I've covered it. It's a matter of public record. The only one that's in question is some of the clandestine money we suspect goes to the ANC, which they're not reporting. And we know that the EFF fails to report their financial donations because they claim no one gave more than 100 Rand. It's utter nonsense. We will do a Night Owls because I'm not going to get to the rest of this. All right, so congratulations to the lady. Yep, National Lottery Ituba said the winner, who is a frequent lotto participant, selected her numbers via the quick pick option using her banking app with a 160 Rand wager. Wow, for 160 Rand, she won 103,684,796. And if you look closely at the picture, we don't know if the lady's black, white, or colored. We see on the left-hand side, black hand holding the check. On the right-hand side, on the left hand, we see white or colored person. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Somebody won 103 million Rand. That's what matters. But of course, they love to turn stuff into race. That's why I did that. Folks, Philip de Vet in News 24 says we need to talk about America. Well, we don't. We need to talk about Philip de Vet and his America-hating nonsense and his garbage and his worldview that is skewed like a typical leftist hate wanker. So, Philip de Vet, we don't need to talk about America. We need to talk about your lies and your hyperbole. And we'll do that when I go to Night Owls. All right, folks, that's going to safer flying scares away more than... Yeah, born in Lubumbashi. That's why I say Erica knows where Lubumbashi is at. All right, folks, that's going to wrap it up here because I've got to go. We didn't get to all the South African stories. The Philip de Vet, one more South. Well, I'll do the one more South Africa. One more South Africa story, then I'll go. So South African elections are fought and won on identity, and that's why the Zulu voted for Zuma, said Helen Zille. Well, that's not a shocker. She also said this at that South African Chamber of Commerce, UK. She said, a man who is responsible for state capture, you would think he would not get as many votes as he received. It tells you that elections in South Africa, even though we have a constitutional democracy and we have rules of the game, elections are not fought and won on the issues. They're largely fought on issues of identity. And you saw that with the Zulu people swung strongly for Jacob Zuma and his party, Mkhonto we Sizwe. And she's correct. She's correct. And people, by extension, can say the same thing about the DA. The DA is voted by white people and colored people based on identity. They identify with it based on that. Many vote on issues, but many vote on identity. So yeah, there you go. Many Freedom Front Plus voters are white and vote for Freedom Front Plus because they're white. People vote based on identity. They do it here in America. Look at all the morons that are going out and pulling the lever tomorrow for Kamala Harris, saying she has great ideas and plans. What? She stands for women's rights. No, she doesn't. That's utter nonsense. It's pure propaganda. She's an empty vessel. She's a sock puppet. But millions and tens of millions of people will vote for her because they're dumb as a box of rocks like her. Anyway, that's going to do it here, folks. I hate to go with 106 people here, but please hit the like button. Come on. I really put a lot of energy in this effort. Got to go.
That was easy.
You'll be directed automatically to Wyatt du Toit's broadcast, and you can join us in just a couple minutes. Yep. Thank you very much, folks. Lies. I've seen Freedom Front Plus. No, Pablo Charlie, stop. I didn't say there weren't black voters for the Freedom Front Plus. You're not listening. Selective listening does not engage your mind. I said many of their voters. Pay attention. Take the wax out of your ear. I know I get a lot of wax buildup. I have to, irrigate it periodically because I have big wax buildup. Maybe you've got the same problem. Thank you for being here. All right, folks, that's it. We'll see you on Wyatt du Toit in just a moment. Cheers. Come on, Ronaldo. Hit the damn like button. Good Lord. How hard is it?